Hey Year 12s, you'll have noticed while you're reading language analysis pieces that there is more to the piece's persuasiveness than just the words written. Writers carefully structure and design the layout of their writing to be as visually appealing and persuasive as possible. Today we're going to talk about several examples of this, namely headings, dot points, paragraph size, capitalization, italicized text, and hyperlinks. There is a real tendency to focus on simply what is written, but high-marking essays look at the piece as a whole and consider the contribution of structural elements. Let's talk about headings. Headings are generally designed to catch a reader's attention and encourage them to read on to the body of the text. Because of this, you'll notice that they often contain some form of alliteration, rhyme, metaphor, simile, pun, or other short and memorable methods of phrasing. Consider these titles from the Saturday paper. Detention Deficit Disorder, A Real Stage Turner, Poison IV, Bishop's Long Play Moves to Old Mate. The heading's attention-grabbing ability goes beyond this though. They often tend to be large and bolded. In writing your essay, consider what is special about the heading, including font and colour if relevant. Dot points are a good technique to keep your eyes peeled for. They fundamentally make an idea easier to follow. Let's take a look at some different ways dot points can be used. Imagine that I'm trying to persuade you to be a vegetarian, and I provide my argument to you in this way. Eating less meat will improve your health, reduce your contribution to climate change and marine ecosystem degradation, stop you from being complicit in the mistreatment of innocent animals. By using dot points, I've highlighted the number of arguments against meat eating. I've clarified that there is more than one reason to stop. Let's take a look at another example. Pretend I'm trying to persuade you that the government should invest more money into encouraging Victorians to ride bikes. All we require of the government is a 5% increase in bike lane funding, a 2-hour mandatory training course for police officers and ambulance workers on common biking injuries, a small amount of airtime for our A Meter Matters ad campaign on free-to-air television. By using dot points, I've made my request seem very simple and therefore reasonable. The dot points make the goals seem clear and achievable, almost like a checklist. These two examples show how dot points can be used to make an argument seem more logical, more thought out, or clearer. Next, let's think about paragraph size. Writers often vary the sizes of their paragraphs to have different effects. As the length of a sentence affects where the emphasis is, paragraph size has a similar effect. Consider if the writer provides a long, rambling paragraph on the injustices suffered by asylum seekers while in detention, and then concludes that paragraph with, "How is this fair?" Their next paragraph might be as short as 2 sentences, saying, "It isn't, and so it must stop." The contrast between the rambling paragraph and the short sentences draws focus on the injustice as stated by the rhetorical question's response. Let's speak briefly about what effects can be put on the text itself, like capitalization, italicization, bolding, underlining, or sizing. One obvious effect of some of these techniques is to draw attention to a particular word or phrase. Another is that changing the way a word is written changes how we read it. Capitalization might make it sound as if it is shouted, while italicization can be a sign of verbal emphasis or sarcasm. On top of that, consider if the pieces you are trying to read is a transcript of a speech. These can be assigned for the speaker to place verbal emphasis on what they are reading, changing the way it is received by the audience. It can really impress an assessor if you consider this sort of detail and the impact it might have on the reader. Finally, let's discuss hyperlinks. These are an embedded link to an internet site, such as you can find lots of free practice exams at www.engageeducation.org.au. Hyperlinks are often recognizable because they create underlined text that is a slightly different color. Often when used in language analysis, hyperlinks can constitute a call to action, such as a request by the writer for the reader to visit another site, sign up to do a protest, or sign a petition. Alternatively, links can be used as a form of evidence to demonstrate the writer's credibility if they provide access to another source that shares their point of view. That's all for now. Remember to keep your eyes peeled for all of these structural techniques next time you analyze a language analysis piece. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.